The day did not start well. In the small hours of the morning, I was trying to go to sleep, but the dogs in the house across the street from us started barking. All three small dogs that sounded so shrill. And I did wait for the owners to wake up and see what the dogs are up to, but after about half an hour, the dogs were still barking, so I went out. Let me put on the original sound of this video clip so you can see what I had to deal with. Yan. I drove to the security guard at the main gate of our community and told him what was going on. What he did was he rode his bicycle to the house and knocked on the door. He woke up the occupants, and then they finally dealt with the noise. Here is a video clip of the now quiet neighborhood. I will be using the original sound here. Nagduman ako sa guardhouse. Pagsabihan ko sa guard. Nagbisikleta sa guard, nagdigdig, pigtuktukan sila. I finally fell asleep at a few minutes before 5 a.m. I do not deal well with any kind of stress, and I always need a couple of hours to recover from even just a minor one. I woke up at 10:25 in the morning, not enough sleep, and I was still tired, but I had to deal with stuff today, so I won't have to deal with them anymore for the rest of the week. I opened the curtains in my room and saw that it was a nice day out. The sun was out, but there is a cold, soft wind blowing. I already made my bed and I have transferred my things into this Michael Kors shoulder bag that my Aunt Sarah gave me in 2019. All that was in my baby transparent bag was transferred here, so it looks stuffed, and I did carry my medicines for the day. And because I might be staying at Jawaid's house for a couple of hours, I will be bringing that thick photocopy over there so I can use the time to read something that's directly related to my thesis. I do plan to resume work on my thesis at some point today. I did not get breakfast because I had no appetite, so I drove to Jawaid's house because he said I can have lunch there and we can run our errands together afterwards. Now, do you remember these streets? I'm going the opposite way on the streets that I featured on one of my previous vlogs about a truck causing problems on these exact same streets several months ago. Now, the clock on my dash cam is off. I checked my watch and it said 11:49 in the morning, but this clock is saying 12:14 in the afternoon, but I was driving so I could not film my watch. And when I got to Joe White's house, he wasn't ready and he said he wasn't hungry yet and he was not sure about his errands. So I said, I'll deal with my stuff first while he thinks about his own stuff. I went to SM, which is very near, about 5 minutes away from his house. The branch of LBC here is where I mail off most of the notebook orders from the Unplanned Life because the LBC here is located right at the entrance of the third floor where not much people pass through. It's right over there. And because I'm a person with a disability, I always take this chair and I don't have to fall in line. Today, I am mailing this notebook order for the final customer on my shop before I temporarily closed myself for orders. The mailing was super quick and then I went on to my next errand. But the clock on the dash cam was really freaking me out. All the clocks on my devices are automatically set to Philippine Standard Time, so I really didn't like that my dash cam clock didn't match everything else because sometimes I need the dash cam clock to match what's on my phone for documentation purposes. So what I did was I pulled over and adjusted the time manually. This dash cam does not go online, so I cannot set it to Philippine Standard Time. But I based the new time settings on what I could see on my watch, which is based off of the time on my iPhone, which is automatically set to Philippine Standard Time. And after all of my clocks now matched, I felt much better. The next errand was at Nopper. This drugstore is where I buy two of the medications prescribed by my endocrinologist. And then the second drugstore that I went to was Mercury Drug along the same street, and this is where I buy everything else. By the way, here are the documentation that I always bring with me when buying medicines so that I can get the discount for persons with disabilities. We usually get 20% off. And then the next place I went to was this gasoline station on the way to Jawaid's house. When I got back, finally, he had decided what to do. We had lunch. You guys, this is really good. This is bopis, which he cooked. It's made of pork or beef lungs and heart, and it's all sauteed in tomatoes and onions and chili. He cooked this. He's a really good cook, and we also had black rice, which he also cooked. And then finally, we went off to run his errands. We went to Concepcion and then to Tabuco. Both errands were really quick, and then we went back to his house because I was feeling really woozy from the lack of sleep. I actually get a lot of sleep in his house. Going home, there was the Monday rush hour traffic and it was heavy, but because this is just a really small place, I didn't mind. I got home at 5:45 in the evening and I decided to make myself a vitamin drink. This is Beroca. It has vitamin B complex, ascorbic acid, calcium, magnesium, and zinc. And the pack has these large tablets that are meant to be dropped into a glass of water, and then the tablet dissolves quite fast, and then you have yourself a citrus flavored fizzy drink. For dinner, I had the last of the baked macaroni that was on the dinner table. And then I saw my son having some cereal, and I did not want to miss out, so I had some myself. Of course, the um, cereal no longer matched the fizzy drink, so I brought the unfinished glass to my bedroom and finished it while I was browsing the YouTubes. And then I suddenly remembered one last errand that I had to run. I had to drop off some personal sized planner inserts for Mineta here at Paseo del Rio. I was supposed to do this earlier with my other errands, but I forgot to bring the inserts. So after this one, I went on home, and shortly before 7 p.m., I was finally able to start studying. I took my little laptop stand that's always beside me on the bed, and I placed it on the center of the bed with a lamp attached to it, and I spent about half an hour reading, and then I took a 30-minute break, and then I went back to reading, and I read for a little over an hour. I was reading The Practice of Everyday Life by Michel Ducerteau for the second time. And the second time is usually when I annotate the book specifically for whatever research I am using it, and that's what I did. This is not very heavy reading, and I was able to go through one entire chapter in good time. And then I remember that my bag was also giving me the creeps. So I filmed a what's in my bag video and also pared down the contents of that same bag on camera. And so just to give you an idea of what I was able to accomplish for the day, I was able to drop off the planner inserts for Mineta, mail off notebooks to a customer, purchase medicines. I filmed all the video clips for this vlog, and I also filmed a what's in my bag video. Tomorrow, my entire day is technically open, although I have two videos to edit, and of course, I have to work on my thesis for at least 3 hours. On Wednesday, there is a scheduled 12-hour power interruption, and if it's too hot for me to stay home, I can drive around with Jawide. We have had a few power interruptions in January, and Jawide and I usually use the time to drive around. Literally just drive around without even going out of the car because the pandemic is still on and it's crazy, but all the isolation is sometimes stressful, and we need to see the outdoors. Not the city, but the farms and the forests at the foot of the mountain, which is about 5 to 10 minutes away from our house. Later on, I decided to get ready for bed. I washed up, changed into my bedtime clothes, and then went to the kitchen to make some hot water. Everybody else in the house was already asleep by this time, so the kitchen is dark. We just use this electric kettle for hot water because I don't know how to work a stove. Now I am ready to end my day with a little bit of journaling on my desk. All my lights are off now except for this one little lamp with the warm light. I'm going to be using my favorite fountain pen, the Pelikan M400 White Tortoise with the extra fine nib that writes like a medium, and I have my little cup of chamomile infusion. It's 6 minutes before midnight. I am going to fill in the rest of my timestamps for the day and then proceed with journaling and then get to bed.